Hello folks, I hope you're enjoying this wonderful summer weather. We sure are. I am, especially. You can see my motorcycle helmet sitting there in the background, I just noticed. Anyway, I had an interesting chat with a fellow yesterday who explained that he had done some market research in the past, but it hadn't told him anything. And interestingly, I hear that comment quite often when organizations do market research, but they don't take the right approach to it. So they end up kind of verifying things that they already knew, but really not uncovering anything new. I thought I would just give you some insight into how we approach research a little bit differently so that you can kind of maybe take a second look at how you're doing it in your organization. The first thing is that rather than ask a lot of close-ended questions in our research, we really prefer to let people talk. So instead of doing all these little yes, no on a scale of type questions, when we're doing research for a client that really needs to know something, it's not so much about measurement, but it's about finding an answer, such as like, why do they come here? Or why do they choose to buy from us instead of someone else? Or how do they go about choosing our products or services? Or how does it fit into their lives? Those kinds of things. It works better when you do exploratory research, we call it in the industry, but that means really letting people talk and give you a more rich, in-depth answer. So in order to make that work, what we usually do is get permission from the clients to share with the people we're interviewing who the client is and why do they need to know. So for example, to say they're trying to figure out how to grow their business or make some changes and they'd really like your input. They see you as a valuable customer, so they'd really like to get some in-depth feedback from you. So just giving someone the intent of what the research is makes them go, okay, maybe this might be important to my relationship with that business, so maybe I should put some real thought into my answers. So setting it up in the right way is the first key. The second one is, when you're asking people questions, it's good to have a list of questions to ask, but sometimes you don't want to just force people to ask them answer them in that sequence. You want to make it feel like it's a natural kind of a conversation. So if someone maybe wanders off topic a little bit, you don't have to rein them in exactly every time. Sometimes a little bit of a tangent is okay, and it kind of puts them at ease and makes them feel that you're really listening. And I even sometimes share a little bit of my own ideas or thoughts here and there so that they get the idea of what we're looking for, just to kind of prompt them. Like sometimes people are a little bit, closed in their answers. Like they might think you just want a short answer, so they say, not really, or I just found them on the web, or they might give you a really simple answer. But so you have to kind of probe a little bit to get people to really talk. And sometimes a little bit of sharing or a little bit of humor is okay, and sometimes a little bit of wandering and a little bit of them going off into a tangent is okay, just to kind of give you the richness of the answer. So you don't need to, I guess the point is you got to remember that these are human beings, and sometimes people just need to be listened to, and the more that you show that you're really listening through doing market research, the richer and the deeper answers you can get. And the final point here is to not feel that you can't kind of be natural with them. So where am I going with this? It's kind of, I guess you could say, it's unnatural to ask questions like, what would you really pay for this service? Or because it can kind of put people on the spot. But if you ask questions that kind of establish the rapport first, and you've joked along with them and you've listened to them, then you can kind of really get into those questions that are a little more difficult. Like, so would you really give this this business all your business, or do you find you wish that they did other things so that you wouldn't have to go to their competitor for some of those things? So the easier questions you need to ask kind of earlier in the conversation, put them at ease, kind of joke around, be yourself, let them know that whatever they have to say or whatever they need to vent about, you're going to listen. And then further into the conversation, you can ask a little more direct probing questions about what do they really think or wish that the client was doing that they're not doing now. So, in a nutshell, it's okay to tell the intent of what you're using the research for so they think about it. Secondly, you want to be exploratory, let the questions breathe, make a natural conversation, and then finally, save kind of the difficult, more probing, more intimate sort of questions about really why they do or don't like the relationship with that business, kind of till the end, because by then they'll trust you better and they'll be more willing to share. So if you really want to learn something that you weren't expecting out of your research, you will put people most at ease and have this kind of in-depth relationship type conversation with them. And the more of that you do, the more interesting insights and the more groundbreaking things you'll uncover about how you can improve your business. So with that, I wish you all the best in your research, and if you need some help delivering on those particular talents, I hope you'll give us a call here at Tenato. Thanks so much for listening. See you again.